Today is July 21st, 2023. Oh my gosh, I look like I'm way down here. Hang on a second. I need to fix that. Tell me how you doing, what's up, what's going on, that you can see me, that we have a decent connection, all that good stuff. Welcome to the Psychic News Network. I am Annette Dion, the host and founder of the Psychic News Network. There's only one. And let me just start by saying today, for most people that I have encountered, has been very, and I'd like your feedback on this, has been very tense. People seem very, very tense today. Can I get a witness? Or did you have like a peace out kind of day? Thanks, Sharon. Did you have a peaceful day or not peaceful day? Because I'm going to read you what our resident astrologer sent me, because I had to ask. I had to send Kathy Beal an email to say, what the heck is going on? To which she responded, oh, hell yeah. And CM, you win. Two things. Two big oppositions creating tension and challenges. Angry. Yeah, angry. Here's the obstruction. Because I mentioned I just felt like I kept getting interrupted or obstructed. Or like, for instance, things like showing up at my office and there's a great big barrel in front of the front door, people cutting off in traffic, people being really like riding my you-know-what, driving, like, and just the tension was so thick you could cut it. Thank you for the compliments. So I mentioned the obstruction. Mars, the planet of war, and action and anger, is in Virgo. Just went into Virgo. We talked about that at Spirit Talk Podcast with Kathy on Tuesday. Boy, that seems like ages ago. It was just this week. It just, so much has happened. So much happens in a short span of time. So Mars in Virgo, where the energy of, I know how to do it better than you do, you know how, and then, the back and forth, that. Kathy, you're always retracting your messages, Kathy Reagan. It's okay. I just wonder why. She seemed mad at you. Yeah, people seem like they're mad at you. People like, I mean, I just got to a point where it's like, I'm just going to just hide. So that Mars in Virgo, action, anger, I know how to do it better. So that's competitiveness, just this feeling of we're competing with one another. And Saturn, which has to do with authority and rules, and Pisces, which is pretty much about everything. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, and Pisces energy can be really kind of murky, like murky water too. So the Sun in Cancer opposing Pluto. Somebody mentioned Pluto. And Capricorn, power issues. So boy, it's like a grumpy mood. Yep, we talked about that. Barbara had the feeling not to go out the door. Very insightful. Also, aside from the astrology, yeah. Prayers of gratitude to Tony Bennett and his family. He lived a really good life. Maybe we'll get a little message from Tony. Like something about singing. Here's the other thing. I want us to start addressing the collective trauma that we are in. I want us to start addressing really here during our show time. I'm going to flip that in a second, just to keep track of time. We are in a type of a collective trauma, especially in the United States, where there are people doing and saying horrible things and not telling the truth ever, and leading with lies and getting all this airtime and using up all our tax dollars in these sham hearings. Hello. And feeling like I was just talking about this with Sandy here. Feeling like, I hope you don't mind that I'm mentioning your name. We're in an existential crisis. Thank you, Kathy. Hey, Quebec. We're in an existential crisis. Before COVID hit, I remember, just as soon as the pandemic hit, March of 2020, I sent out a newsletter, and I sent this newsletter to everyone, and I said, this was my take on the pandemic that we were facing, that we were like full steam ahead, heading for extinction. And the universe stopped it in a horrible way because, we lost 1 million people. Like my guides told me, there'd be 1 million people gone before we got a handle on it. And that's most certainly what happened. And you've heard me say that many times. And that was just like in March 2020. Anyway, I said we were heading for extinction. We were fast-tracked for extinction. The pandemic hit and we all had to hit the pause button. We thought it was going to be for 2 weeks. It ended up being for, still, now. There's still COVID out there. And here we are now in the midst of the most, I was just reading in Florida, if you go into the water in Florida, it's kind of like a hot tub. Refreshing, isn't it? And people are literally dying from the heat. And we haven't even seen hurricane season in the south yet. It could come up this far, we're praying that it doesn't. If it doesn't hit anybody, but tornadoes, floods, it's the wildfires. It's really hazy here today, on the cooler side, which is great. But anyway, in the face of all this, 117 in Phoenix, I'm so sorry, that just seems horrible. No sign of the heat dome letting up. It could be like this for months and months and months. It doesn't really get that much cooler in September. Here it doesn't get that much cooler in September. It used to. I remember a time when I was a kid when at the end of August, I felt the seasons change because we went from beach day to too cold for the beach. In the face of this, I also read an article this morning, part of an article, and then I was just too angry to keep reading, that said that the fossil fuel industry is full on doing exploratory drilling to drill more oil. Okay? You just got an email from your church saying if you were exposed to COVID, if you were in church? Yeah, see, it's not over. And just to recap, because a lot of you may not have been with me during the time that I talked, endlessly about COVID, because it was what was going on, and we were all pretty scared. I said that we wouldn't see COVID go away entirely till January of 2024, and it seemed like such a long time away back then when I was getting that message. You still wear your mask in public. And I was back and forth this summer. Should I see people in person again for readings? And I just won't. I just won't do it. I'm not crazy about it. It's just given the choice. I don't want to sit with somebody alone in a room like this. It would be like this with another person for 50 minutes, almost an hour. So in the face of all of this, not only do we have the astrology going on, but in the face of not feeling safe because the people in our government, the fascist people in our government, are trying to push lies and trying to push the most dangerous, like Mary Trump said it well when she wrote that book and said something, the subheading about the most dangerous man, her uncle. And in the face of crime after crime after crime after crime after crime, it's still not going to be really dealt with till next year. Yeah, I talked a lot about COVID. That was what was happening, right? Oh, you got a notification. Good. Make sure you hit on the bell and everything. And my numbers are still really low, but I'm just going to keep the faith. Yeah, so, okay, there's going to be a class action lawsuit to the fossil fuel industry. Yeah, they knew back in 1965. It's in Yankee Magazine, July, August. I'm going to make a note of that. Okay, so I checked that out. And like the list goes on and on and on and on. Then we have Ron DeFascist. No, this is not the same America we grew up in, and we need to get the memo straight, right? We need to tell everyone. Ron DeFascist in Florida. It's mirrored after the tobacco lawsuit, the fossil fuel industry lawsuit. I'd like to know about that. I'll look that up. And Yankee Magazine, was that correct? So then we have Ron DeFascist influencing the school boards to not only not teach the truth about Black history, but to, it's like even worse, to teach that there was slavery, but these words I'm just going to say it. These school boards in Florida that are fascist, because Ron DeFascist set them up that way, are saying that they need to teach the students that the slaves learned some good skills and didn't get notified for the first time. Just keep hitting the bell. The slaves learned important skills. So the astrology today is weird and making people feel agitated and angry and frustrated. I would describe it today as frustrated energy. But when it gets like that for me, I just hide. But anyway, I don't take it out on anyone, to the best of my ability. So we have that. Somebody saw a shocking story on the news. He wanted the Florida teachers to, yeah, I just said that. Well, I didn't say exactly those words. To teach that slavery was teaching defining character to African Americans. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Al Sharpton, I bet he had a lot to say about Florida on Morning Joe. I did catch some of that. And the seagulls are kind of active tonight. He's going down. Yeah, just to follow up on that. He's going down. But he's got all these people that are all, promoting racism. Hello, Oklahoma. It's a nice musical. We mentioned Tony Bennett. Patty's here. Let's get the party started. I mean, the card part. This is not a very stable thing. I guess that means... Hang on, I have to deal with this. The guides have reported that we're actually not going to use the hourglass, the half hourglass. And let's pick the cards. Oh wow, the Yankee Magazine mentions Cape Ann Museum. It's right up the street. All right. Which cards should we use? We won't be using the half hourglass. The sands of time have spilled. The guides have spoken. Time is irrelevant. I'm just noticing what popped up on my phone just now. I guess it was from Threads. Is Kamala Harris went down to Florida, and spoke out about this. I didn't catch what she said yet. Did anybody catch Kamala in Florida today? She headed right down there. I know someone's trying to tell me something. I gotta move the destruction to the side. I just destroyed that half hourglass. So, but nothing got into the tea. I mean, that pretty much sums it up, doesn't it? Please hit the thumbs up if you can, and thank you for the donation. Much appreciate. Okay. Is Ron DeSantis going to fail in his bid for the presidency? Is he going to fail? Yeah, that's a really strong yes. Kamala made a great speech down in Florida. I will have to check it out. I can't put a timeline on it. You're right. I do have to move the sand though, because it actually broke. Oh my goodness. I have another one. It's a full hour, but I'm not going to put it up because it didn't stay on that stand. Ron is going down. I told you it would be August that he wouldn't be able to continue his campaign. I got a bunch of pendulums here. Will he end his campaign within 1 week? Ron DeSantis. Will he end his campaign within a week? Wow, I'm getting yes on that. Within a week. Okay, well, let's read about that. I'm going to pull out my Hanson Roberts deck. This deck reminds me of when I did readings in Nashville. I used these almost exclusively. I love this deck. The Hanson Roberts. Let's look at, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to read on Joe Biden, who's going all around the country, creating jobs, fixing our economy, doing things that are like presidential. I'm going to read on Joe Biden. We're going to pull 3 cards. You saw Kamala Harris on the news in response to the Florida slavery curriculum. She was amazing. I haven't seen what she said yet. August will be huge. August is next week. Andre the astrologer has said. We're going to have another show, Kathy Beal and I, on August 1st, which is a full moon. It's right around the corner. 3 cards on Joe Biden. Love our Joe Biden. We're going to actually... I write to MSNBC about this all the time. I really bug them. I bother them about not covering Joe Biden enough. So, listen to me. I should practice what I preach. We're going to be reading on Joe Biden more. The world really loves Joe Biden. The world really loves Joe Biden. Yeah, the next show will be on the full moon. Me and Kathy, Spirit Talk Podcast, under the lives. This last one we did is under the videos. You know how my channel has different columns? And also yesterday I did a little short one from the rocks by the ocean. So Dark Brain and Rocks, this is about Biden. We're starting with Joe Biden for a change. The world really loves Joe Biden. I mean, it's understandable, right? I'm picking up the Page of Cups is actually, I do feel, I don't know, this just popped in, that Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to be, is she going to be removed because of what she did? Did you like the video of the ocean? Yeah, good, good. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to make an effort to do Tuesdays and Thursdays outside somewhere while the weather's nice. President Joe Biden, this is the King of Cups. I'm seeing a very strong campaign, a very financially strong campaign for Joe Biden. Speaking about the law of contrast, let me tell you about the law of contrast. When you compare the two, I love the little grin he gets when he gets to humiliate people that have been horrible to him. Yeah, when you compare the two, here you have like the murderous fascist And you know, the more I read Trump's energy, the more I feel like of all the dictators that I can think of that are presently in place in the world, I actually feel like Donald Trump's energy is closest to Kim Jong-un. And I'm not going to read on the U.S. soldier except to say the one that did something stupid and ended up in North Korea. You're welcome about the ocean vid. I can't read on the soldier. You like the on the rocks. Okay, we're going to do it again. Biden has way more money for his campaign than Trump. I mean, I really just, the more we see the difference between the two, and really, tuning into Trump, his energy's like Kim Jong-un. That same kind of all control, shut everything down, shut everybody down, revenge, vindictive energy, you know, all that. It's actually closer to Kim Jong-un than Putin. Oh, hi, David. Yeah, good. You know, a lot of people liked the video by on the rocks. Trump told everyone he'll be a dictator. I read that to you on Wednesday. Wednesday, I started with that. I started with what Trump had said he would do. And it really sends a chill through my veins. Because, thank you very much for the donation. Because it reminds me of how I felt after November 2020, and I mentioned this on Wednesday, that I felt Trump in November of 2020 setting it up. So prior to the election, actually, setting it up, and right up until the insurrection, so that he was going to get rid of all the departments, all the, you know, all the State Department and the, you know, the security, the intelligence, the FBI. Trump was planning to get rid of all of them. The problem that we have in America is the people that are in the cult. Yeah, I remember me saying it. The problem that, in a nutshell, the problem that we're having in America is that we have a segment of the population that are in a cult. I like to simplify it for people. They're in a cult. If you want to understand, there's so many compliments about the show on the rocks. If you want to understand what we're up against in America, it's all about, we have to get rid of the people that got, I mean, the information that got the people brainwashed. That are stupid. I almost said get rid of the people. I didn't mean that. Get rid of the hypnotizing forces. The cult is in Canada too. Really? Are they QAnon? I hear rain. Oh my goodness, it's raining out. That's weird. It wasn't supposed to rain till later. Anyway. That's the problem that we have. Because I was just watching Ari Melba earlier, and he had Bob Woodward on again, which I'm glad that he did. I'm glad that he had Bob Woodward on again. He is vicious. Yeah. Trump is vicious. And good for Ari Melber. You need rain? Good for Ari Melber to have Bob Woodward on again to go over what happened with COVID and how Trump botched his response because Trump was only concerned about his poll numbers. They've been harassing Trudeau. He was only interested in his poll numbers during COVID, and he knew that it would sink him. But he can't really figure things out, and he doesn't. It was like a child in charge of a country and in the midst of a deadly pandemic who wouldn't listen to anybody. I shouldn't laugh. It was horrible, but it's just it's a laugh at the absurdity of that people actually want to reelect him. Share the rain to Southern California. We've got plenty of rain. We've had a lot of rain. In Canada, they're your conservatives. It's not conservative. Let's understand, it's not conservative. It's cult mentality. And they prey on people that are, and a P-R-E-Y, they prey on people that are angry anyway, that have, might be a hidden anger, and they prey on people that are gullible. And they say, we'll get him for you, we'll get him. So the whole concept of working together and cooperating, like we're tribal beings, and that's what we're wired to do. It's just, it's not understood. Let's pull 3 cards about that, about are the American people, well, Gloria's saying they're crazy, but understand that when somebody's in a cult, read The Cult of Trump. I tell you all the time, I repeat it all the time. Read The Cult of Trump by Stephen Howson. It's not stupidity as much as vulnerable and gullible, and they have anger. They've been unjustly treated. So it's not conservative. So I'm going to pull 3 cards about, is America coming around? Enough American people coming around to their senses. I think those sham hearings are working against. I think those sham hearings are working against the Republicans. Low self-esteem, plain stupid. Enough people in America coming to their senses. I did read about this before, but it's worth reading about again. The sun is, yeah, there's the more information comes out, the more people that were kind of like, well, Trump, is he that bad? The more that gets illuminated, the more. Some will hang on. They're uninformed. They're uninformed. They're underinformed or they're uninformed. I do see some just hanging on. I just saw Stefanik in one of the hearings, and just horrible, just horrible. Yeah, they're filled with hate, so they're really angry, and so what fascism plays on is people's feeling that they've been treated unjustly. So some of them will hang on to Trump, but there's going to be a lot that comes to light. And when you think about that, we don't want to die from another pandemic, because you never know, right? Americans are coming out of their slumber. It looks like right now we're at the halfway point in terms of it's not leaning so heavily towards Trump. They're not leaning as heavily towards Trump. Put it that way. It's funny that it started raining and I feel the humidity even more. The sun, yeah. There will be people waking up. Just to let you know, anybody who has been a Trumpster that starts to, you start to see question marks over their head, do not, under any circumstances, say, I told you so. How could you have believed such stupidity? Don't say it. Just go, yeah, well, just, do not, in any manner, shape, or form, say anything, or even body language or anything that looks like, well, see, I told you. Our healings are working, yeah. Or like what Kathy said, I know more than you do. That will not work. Well, our Canadian friend here, Jen, personally blaming the DOJ for taking so long. Okay. You might not have been watching. I covered that. From the minute that Merrick Garland got in office as the Attorney General of the United States, I felt threats. Not that that should stop, not that that should stop the AG from moving forward with something, but there was a connection. I felt threats. Our DOJ was compromised under Trump, and our DOJ was compromised when Merrick Garland first got in, and I felt like his hands were tied. I'm not trying to justify that they should have acted on it sooner. It was a January 6th committee, and all the hard work that they did, they were so thorough. He not only had a mess to clean up, Merrick Garland, but there were still people that were Trumpsters in the department, and his hands were tied, and that is my psychic impression. Are you not listening to me, Gloria? I thought I explained it. Jeez. Long well, your typewriter, your keyboard kind of went crazy there. We're not going to argue. we're gonna rise above this astrology. That Garland did the best he could with what he had. And I even mentioned that Merrick Garland's ancestors fled the Holocaust, I believe. And, there was a little bit of like, yikes. He didn't know who he could trust. Anyway, I'm telling you that there was something going on there. It wasn't just that, it wasn't fear. It was like he was, we'll read on it. His hands were tied in some way. It reminds me, and I'm not justifying this either, the energy I'm picking up around this with Merrick Garland not getting on the January 6th thing sooner is similar to the energy that I get, that I'm taking a risk here, about that Willow project that is supposed to happen, the drilling for oil that's supposed to happen. Yes, they're still planning to drill for fossil fuels, to have a pipeline in Alaska. I felt like Biden was strong-armed there. So there are certain scenarios in which I pick up this energy of there are forces that are really hard to push back on, and sometimes those forces get right in the way. Garland had a lot to deal with, just like Joe. So thank you for understanding what I'm saying. Because sometimes, I don't know, we're going to read on Garland, and yeah, I actually pick up that there was a time and his hands were completely tied because there were too many Trumpsters in the DOJ initially, and then I get the sense that all of a sudden they were cleared out. Remember when there were people in the Secret Service that were Trumpsters, and they were watching, they were protecting Jill Biden, and then they found out that they were not legit. Remember that? There were a lot of posers. Oh, Manchin wouldn't sign the infrastructure bill unless Biden okayed the Willow Project. I did not know that. Thank you, CM, for clearing that up for me. I knew it was something, so that was a strong arming that I got. And I felt like when Biden said okay to the Willow Project, in the back of his mind, he planned to retract it in some way. Manchin is a snake. Yeah, interesting. Even during the Mar-a-Lago search, there was Trumpsters in the DOJ trying to block it. They're still there, Electra Storm says. Not as many. Not as many. I feel like a lot of them got cleared out. If Garland started too soon, we would have had a civil war, Patricia says. That's an interesting perspective. And actually, I do think there's truth to that. The country is dealing with a lot of deception, and that's the understatement of the year. It's all deception. So the question I'm asking is, what happened with Merrick Garland? What happened with the DOJ not getting on it? Like, I'm just pulling cards for more information. I think I got that Biden will renege on the Willow Project. So we'll see. You know, one thing at a time. But my half-hour glass smashed and the sand's all sitting right here. So I guess this is a timeless PNN. Merrick Garland and the DOJ not getting on Trump as soon as they should have. Their hands were tied. Their hands were tied. And it was very, very, very difficult. Send Merrick Garland some positive vibrations. And then they cleared the way. It's exactly what I said. It's exactly what I said. He had to give the crazies a chance to calm down. Yeah. It's exactly what I said. Merrick Garland couldn't move forward. There were too many obstacles in the way. And there were serious obstacles. Like what, and it's interesting that somebody, sorry, I forgot who it was, CM, just said that Manchin forced Biden's hand on the Willow Project to get the infrastructure bill passed. These people, don't they know they're going to hell, the ones that are like Joe Manchin? Don't they know? Don't they know? Yes, there's sand from the hourglass. I am not to time the readings anymore. But the United States, this is really strong for the United States. We cleared the way. So now we have enough people that are for American democracy and the DOJ. We don't have the Trumpsters, not as many anymore. Just so you know. Just so you know, because that's why we're here. I have about, Kathy's saying new tarot cards. I have about 10 tarot decks, which makes it a little hard to choose which ones to use. But I use these in the 90s a lot. This is a Hanson Roberts deck. The illustrator is Italian. Yep. And so a lot of Italians design tarot cards. Also the Aquarian Tarot, that was an Italian artist. In the history of tarot, tarot started in the Middle East, and the soldiers used to use tarot as like kind of like playing cards, and then later, this is like in the 1500s. In Italy, they used tarot cards to tell stories. So it's interesting because that's what we do with tarot cards, right? Anyway, your Aries motto, if you think I can't stand back and just watch me. I think that's a Sagittarius motto too. Let's take a look at, we're just going to go and look at Robert Kennedy, but I don't really need cards for this, but I know he's been all over the news. Bobby Kennedy. That's his name, right? Robert Kennedy? Robert Kennedy Jr. I'm looking for the words to describe his energy. He's a very disturbed human being. Robert Kennedy Jr. is very disturbed. He's mentally very not well. And by the way, I don't know what's wrong with his vocal cords. He's not well. I don't know what is wrong with his vocal cords. He obviously has something. But just one small tiny point about that. people wouldn't want to listen to him. People wouldn't want to physically listen to him. He's like the antithesis. He's like the antithesis of what his uncle JFK was. He's like, speaking of contrast, what is the condition? Obviously he has a condition, I just wonder what it is. But anyway, I'm not saying anything about, like, I'm not making fun of his condition. I'm just saying that making the tiny point that he's sick, he's a compulsive liar, he's mentally, he has a mental, what I read is he's mentally disabled. And, like, his brain doesn't work right. And his voice, the way his voice is, if it was only that, if that was the only thing, if he was like somebody nobody had ever heard of before and he walked into the room and he started talking, they'd be like, oh, I can't, that's hard to listen to. And his family did speak out. And his family has been speaking out. He sounds like Katharine Hepburn in her golden years. No, it's way worse than that. It's way worse than that. Because, see, here's the thing. Another Pinocchio. Boy, we haven't heard about George Santos for a while. Here's the thing. People's voice, the tone of their voice, means something. It holds a lot. You actually can feel a person's energy through how they vocalize. And he may have some kind of a, obviously some kind of a physical ailment, and I'm not making fun of that or anything. I'm saying that he's hard to listen to, and the energy in his voice is wrong. Even if his voice was normal, he can't stand to listen to himself. I bet that's true. And how about this? He was a heroin addict at one point. Yeah, he's not well. I didn't know that. Here's the thing. Let me just remind us all here. He's extremely angry. And losing his father, when his father got assassinated, it really messed him up, but that's no excuse. He was a, what, in a university? I'm just going to remind us all here that the reason to run for president of the United States is that you're called to be a public servant to the people. I'm going to just repeat that. The reason that somebody genuinely runs for the president of the United States, I'm not saying that's the way it is anymore, but the motivation comes from a desire to be a public servant. Look at Kamala Harris. Look at Hakeem Jeffries. Look at Adam Schiff. Look at Dan Goldman. Look at Jamie Raskin, AOC. You know, I can run down the whole Joe Biden, the gamut of people who are genuine public servants. If you want to go to a different arena, look at Jane Goodall. Look at people, just, you can name so many. You can name so many people. Maybe that haven't run for president or office, but, you know, the ones that we know about are like, they run because they want to serve their fellow human beings. You know? I'm just reminding us, that's the reason that we would elect somebody into office, right? The Republicans run to have power, but I'm just reminding us. I'm gonna pull 3 cards, and here's the question. Are we going to go back in the very near future to a government that works for the people? I mean, Joe Biden, I'm going to make sure that the middle class gets a chance again. It wasn't that many years ago that the father of the household could support a family with one job. It wasn't that many years ago. It usually was the male, because in the patriarchy, but it wasn't that many years ago that The father could be the sole income in the family. They could own a house. All the kids could have insurance, health insurance through the job or whatever. They had a good retirement. Were putting money into their retirement. They could take family vacations. They could send their kids to college. Because we had people running in office that were public servants helping the American people. We need Joe Biden again. We do. Like I wrote to MSNBC, I said, I don't care if he governs from a wheelchair and needs help getting dressed in the morning. I want somebody with that kind of experience. And the first card I pulled about him tonight was the World card, which indicated that, we all know Reaganomics, kind of broke the back of this country. But I want someone in there with experience, and the world loves him. Wildflower wind. Those days are long gone. What do we do on my channel? That sounded hopeless. Can somebody counter that? Can somebody counter that? I will. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the hope. I'm waiting for the hopeful statement. I'm waiting for the counter to that. Because we don't believe that things suck here. We look at what's sucky and we hold a vision for something positive. Right? Because let me just clarify. We all know how bad things are. So I read on how bad things are. But we fix it. Exactly. We here are all engaged in knowing that if it's bad, we fix it. We're seeing the death of the old. It's true. I know I sound like a teacher waiting for the answer. I am a stickler about that. I'm just warning everybody. You know that about me. When somebody writes something in the chat that sounds like, oh, it's never going to get better, we just have to call them out. Because we love you. Because we love you. Is it going to get better? I have to catch myself all the time. Energy follows thought. And on that note, I'm glad that I'm talking about this and that you said that. Wildflower wind. Here's something we all need to keep in check. When you look at, I know they go on and on and on and on and on about Trump. When we look at Trump all the time and we get angry all the time, that's not helpful. I'm not saying don't be angry at him, but don't keep looking at him. Because energy follows thought and what we focus on increases. Cat whiskers, you're not understanding my point. I need some help from my people in the chat that understand this. What is it that Martin Luther King says? The arc of history is long, but it bends toward justice. Exactly. Time for group hugs. Everyone send Wildflower Wind a group hug. Okay, I have two things that are indicative of things getting better. The Two of Pentacles is coming up again. The time that we're in right now, we are building a better world. We have to get rid of the slime first. All the things that Trump would say were projections. He said that he was going to drain the swamp. We need to drain the swamp. Yes, let's look at it like these times are going to be. We need to send positivity. We're in a time where we're really balancing this out. We're really balancing things out. Sandy's sending you hugs. We don't deny the current reality. We do not deny. What have I been talking about? You remember when women couldn't even have a checking account? See? We have to see the dark so we can fix it. Definitely. This is a blessing in disguise. The whole thing. You have to know what the problem is before you can fix it. So we are in a time that things are kind of, we're kind of balancing things out. But we have the King of Cups and the King of Pentacles. This is the DOJ. This is justice. This is justice. This is good people in our government. Okay? Good people in our government. And Marby's doing it now. Young people must vote and not be so apathetic and disconnected from reality. All young people are not disconnected from reality. Come on with the absolutes. Stop the absolutes. Okay. Times have changed. That's better. That's different. Times have changed and we have to live in the present. Thank you. You get a bell for fixing that. I know I'm a piece of work. What can I say? I just know how energy works. I've studied it for a very long time. Embrace your power. Come to Grassroots of Democracy. We meet 2 to 3 times a week. Garland walked into an SH storm, that's for sure. It was the way that you said it, wildflower wind. It just sounded like every one of the statements was like, we're doomed. It felt like we're doomed. It might just be the way that you put it. Let's read on. I'm going to pull 3 cards about Ron DeFascist and what he's doing in Florida, just in terms of, is this going to stand? Is fascism going to stand? I know, watermelon time. Is fascism going to stand in Florida? Is it going to just go uncontested? The Empress is the United States. No, the people of Florida are going to make sure it's not that we won't be like Ron DeFascist is out there and he's like, we're going to turn America into Florida. No, he isn't. No, he isn't. No, he isn't. People are starting to rise up. And Pinocchio too. People are getting, this is the law of contrast once again, people are getting very clear about what has to happen in Florida. And they are standing up. Unfortunately, you need a Betty Bunny hug. She's back there. But as you can tell, the cards are sticking to me, so it's too warm to get up and get her. But she's back there. She's giving moral support. Yes, we've been in worse times. And it can be very challenging. You couldn't remember your password? That's the story of my life. You only see your ears? It's an effort. It's an effort. We have to always remind ourselves to switch the way we look at things. Anyway, this is Florida. It looks like I do see some violence in Florida. I hate to tell you that, but maybe it's already happened. And it doesn't take a psychic. Is there going to be something that happens? Okay, it's not horrible. This is just like what I see in Florida is I think I'm picking up on the school boards and the fighting back and forth, the yelling and the shouting. Since we can't be negative, you think of them surrounded by white light that seals them. Yeah, well, what we're doing on Tuesdays during those meetings, yeah, DeSantis building his army, that's what I'm picking up on. It's the violent rhetoric. If I saw the person introducing Kamala Florida, yeah, I get the Florida's ready to, yeah. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. See, you guys are awesome. Thank you for playing the positivity game, because it's not just a game, it's science. Energy follows thought. We have to create in our minds the vision of the America that we want. We do it every Tuesday night, 20 on Tuesdays. Did you hear Marge is talking about Robert Kennedy. Was it Donnelly? Can I just say, the Democrats that are serving in our government from Massachusetts just rock. Just so you know. But I think it was Connolly. I might have the name wrong, but a representative from Massachusetts who looked right at Robert Kennedy and he said, I worked with your father. And that he wasn't looking, I forgot how he put it, but it was like he wasn't a very good representative of that Kennedy name. It was a moment. It was Connolly. That was a moment. That was a moment that I won't forget. And then Ted Kennedy, I mean we loved him in Massachusetts. I went to, I didn't go to the funeral, but I went to the north end of Boston when Ted Kennedy died and the hearse, I saw the hearse go by. And you are no Kennedy. That's what he said. Yeah, and then he said something about his namesake. Well, do what you will with DeFascists when you visualize him. I just visualize them being thrown into a vat of light that binds them from doing any more harm. It's too hard for me to send them love. Florida will be fine. You'll make the best of it before you slide into the sea. We shall overcome. Don't give up the ship. I love it. I have some tea leaves here that we will get to. You guys want to throw up some questions? I'm going to make tonight a little bit shorter because I tend to get more viewers when I make it a little bit shorter. Representative Connolly, he was great. He was great. There's some really wicked smart people from Massachusetts, let me tell you. On Monday, well, I'm thinking of it. On Monday, I'll be live streaming from a different location. You'll have to come back and see. Okay. Do you want to throw up a question? Just for the heck of it, because we didn't ask before. Tonight, I had promised we were going to read on global climate change, and I think I mentioned Pinocchio. Iran DeFascist recall in Florida. Let me read on that first. Will there be a Iran DeFascist recall in Florida? I think I saw that in the past, and somebody was fighting me on in the chat and said it can't happen. I was like, don't ever say it can't happen. Look at how many things that happened that we thought would never happen. Yeah, we talked about Ken Paxton last night. Somebody's sending Archangel Michael to Florida to protect them. Will DeFascists be recalled? It looks like it. Here's DeFascist. Speaking of people that aren't well, yeah, we'll read on Marge. I read on Marge yesterday too. Ron is not doing well emotionally. Ron DeFascist is not doing well. Thank you, Lynn. I don't have high numbers on YouTube. They have been going down, and it's not a good feeling. Believe me. This is Ron DeFascist. He's emotionally a wreck. We'll read about Ted Cruz too. Oh, did you? Oh, interesting. CM, that's what you asked about a few weeks ago, because you saw the Floridians putting in recall papers. Well, we were talking about that a few weeks ago, and somebody in the chat was saying they'll never recall him. They can't recall him. They can't impeach him. And I'm like, are you? That's not what I'm seeing. I've been saying he'll be done in August. Ron will be done. He'll be off the campaign trail by next month. Will Biden get rid of Abbott's floats in the river? We were talking about that last night. I was mortified. We'll read on him too. So DeFascist is off the campaign trail. The world is happy. I see a female prosecutor after DeFascist. I actually feel like this is Kamala Harris. Not that she's working for the Justice Department because she's vice president, but I do see her getting prosecutors on DeFascist. She was there. Oh, thank you, Lois. She was there today. Kamala was there today. She's not taking this very well. Depends on how you look at it. She's doing the right thing. But she's very, very angry. And also, Kamala must be on fire because she's very, very angry at Marjorie Taylor Greene. So here we go again. Here we go again. There's no recall process for the governor in the Florida Constitution. Okay, I think we've been around this before. We've been around the circle before. What I said was, there are many things that get changed, right? When there's a need for a law gets passed. When there's a need, look at how many things that Ron DeFascist has done that haven't been legal, we thought, right? Just because it's not in the Florida Constitution doesn't mean it can't happen. Because I see him out. I see Kamala Harris really upset with what Ron has done to the school boards, which he's basically put fascists all over the school boards. Violent ones. Yes, we'll go to Pinocchio next. But he's not doing well. I see him off the campaign trail, and I see justice coming for him. Janice is saying 20 on Tuesdays is awesome. Sign up, you guys. The world is watching. She was there today. Yeah, I do want to see that clip. The country doesn't look anything at all like it did. Yes, I just talked about that. He's been passing laws to protect, DeSantis has been passing laws to protect his rise as a fascist with his red legislature. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you're here, Susan. Yes, the Florida state senators and assembly need to put something in to get him out. Ron DeFascist has damaged Florida. Another way understatement. Absolutely. If he goes to the Crossbar Hotel, he can't be governor. I don't know what that means. Thank God Biden is in charge, eh? Let's hear it. Woo! People are going to be so happy in the red states that they have jobs again. Let's read on the fate of Santos. You are no Kennedy. Yeah, that's right. Lloyd Benson said to Dan Quayle, right. But boy, that was, Dan Quayle was just kind of stupid. He wasn't like an anti-Semite and anti-vaxxer and all that. Anyway, we already covered that. George Santos. Pinocchio. He knows he's in trouble. He's trying to hide. This is about Pinocchio. Visualization, Ron is gone. Yep. Throw him into the vat of white light so he can do no more harm. The Nine of Pentacles. There's a lot of evidence. There's the Queen of Swords again. I really think that the Queen of Swords is a prosecutor. And I keep on picking up on Kamala. Isn't that interesting? Cool on. Yeah, I know. Okay. She's not saying the Constitution can't be changed. That was my point. In Florida. We haven't read on Trump tonight. Maybe we won't. Actually, I think we're going to not read on Trump tonight. Unless you guys beg me. But why would you want that? He's so ugly. He's so ugly. Ugly! It's funny. And then I flipped over I just saw that. Trump. This is Trump. Let's find out. Let's read about Abbott. Dan Quayle, remember, was the one that Pence called to find out if he could not certify the election. So I am going to read on, wait, who did I say I was going to read on? Marjorie Taylor Greene. Trump finished. I'm not going to read on Trump tonight. Yes, you're welcome. I just... Greg Abbott. Sorry, I got my fascists confused in my head. I know, you remember about Dan Quayle is he couldn't spell potato. I mean, what we remember about the criticisms of Obama was he wore a tan suit one time. I mean, boy, how far we have fallen. I'm reading on Abbott, yes. I almost forgot. I got my fascists all jumbled up in my brain. The cruelty is the point. When I think of the fascists and I think of Abbott, just that's the big banner over their heads. The cruelty is the point. How cruel can we be? Abbott. He's a cruel fool. He's a cruel fool. There's quick, swift action coming against Abbott. They're working on it. They're working on it. In Texas, they are working on it. We have fallen far, but thank God we have Biden. And Biden has been there all along, so he definitely remembers. The thing about Biden is he's got a great frame of reference, you know, for how it used to be and how to make it that way again, right? Right? You think of Dan Quayle whenever you write the word potato? That's funny. That's pretty funny. They're making a case against Greg Abbott. The legal, if you know any young people that are in college and trying to decide what to do for a profession, tell them to go into law. Where's Damon? Damon isn't always here. I think maybe sometimes he has a date on Friday nights. Not sure. I'm going to read on Ted Cruz. Can you believe the Canada's so happy about Biden? Definitely. Can you believe that Ted Cruz is making a big to-do out of a Barbie movie? Out of a Barbie movie? That's how stupid they are. They can't probably put a bill together. They probably can't have an intelligent conversation. So Ted Cruz, who smells bad, Jim Jordan went into law but couldn't pass a bar exam. He's got no legal experience. All right, so first, we're going to read on Ted Cruz. Then we're going to read on Marge. I think she's done. About a month ago, I saw her losing her seat. Doesn't mean the others won't. This card wants to come out. Okay, so that was Ted. We're reading on Ted Cruz right now. What's this thing about the Barbie movie? Ted Cruz needs what? Lumi? He needs a Lumi? Isn't that a device to make compost? What's with the Barbie movie? What is his problem? Okay, so this is Ted Cruz thinking he's all that, thinking he's really something, but boy is he delusional. That's the delusional card. This is Beto. Beto's got his eyes on that seat. Oh, Lumi deodorant. I hate that commercial. I hate commercials anyway. Yeah, I thought you were talking about the Lomi, which is a thing. They advertise it on Midas Touch a lot. That you throw your food scraps in and make compost, which is a really great idea. How could Kevin McCarthy let Marjorie Taylor Greene get away with what she did with that photo of Biden's son? Because he's indebted to her. Do you remember when he finally got in illegitimately to be speaker? He said, these words came out of Kevin McCarthy's mouth. He said, I would do anything for that woman. I see Beto. Is Beto? Has somebody said that they're going to run against Ted Cruz? Does anybody have the lowdown on that? Because I feel Beto, I'm reading about Ted Cruz, and he thinks he's the king. He really does think he's the king. They're mad it's inclusive and Barbie dares to be a happy unwed woman. No, pray tell. A happy unwed woman? Who could ever think of such a thing? My goodness, I'm shocked. Barbie here. Barbie. I'm telling you what, that's beyond the pale. Just clutching their pearls again about the stupidest things. Stupid. And I know I'm kind of joking about it, but it's really serious. We have so many huge problems. Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought someone, Alan Allred and Gutierrez are running against Cruz. Good. Okay. Oh my goodness. Unwed and independent? A girl? A woman? Barbie? I'm telling you what. It's 2023. I want to read on Tuberville. Oh, hang on. I dropped some cards. I dropped a lot of cards, so we're going to go to a different deck. 2 people running against Cruz. Okay. And when is that? Oh, we need to get these people out of Congress. We're not going to get anything done. Is Ted Cruz going to be beat? Yes, he will be beat. When the going gets tough, the tough gets going. That's in a Billy Joel song. It's been a saying for a long time. I don't think he made that up. I don't think so. I don't think Billy Joel made that up. Let's go to the Aquarian Tarot. The Fascist Party doesn't like Barbie because it shows a strong, independent woman, and I shouldn't joke about it because in other countries that is the way it is. Okay. Marjorie Taylor Greene. What's up, Marjorie? What's going on? I can't, speaking of voices, I cannot stand that woman's voice. Oh my gosh, it's really bad. What is her fate? I see Kamala. I told you. I said on Wednesday. Kamala was really good friends with Beau Biden. They were both AGs, I think, in California. I think Kamala is going to see to it that Marjorie loses her seat. Thank you for all the thumbs up. I appreciate that. Please subscribe too. Please help me to build my channel. I need your help. I don't know what to do. I'm just being a drama queen. But I really do need help. Oh, Beto will get a good position. Don't you worry about Beto. He's going to be just fine. The strength of the case against Marjorie Taylor Greene is very, very big. This is the devil. She's working for the devil. She's a puppet. She's a devil's puppet. This is about Marge. My numbers went up? Oh, good. I didn't see it. Thank you. The strength of the case against her is really, really big. 9 of Pentacles. Marge's days are numbered. Thank you, Kathy. Marge's days are numbered. Well, I'm getting the devil's puppet. Yeah, the devil's puppet. And somebody's saying she's Trump's puppet, but Trump is Putin's puppet. So, you know, there's a string. Thank you for the donation. She's done much more than that. Yeah, I talk about it all the time. It's just a matter of time before she's done. Done, 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 done. Let's see how long. How much longer will Marge be in her seat? Will it be a week? 2 weeks? 3 weeks? 4 weeks? 5? Will it be 2 months? 2 more months in her seat? About 2 more months and she'll be done. So, August, September. She's out of there. She's out of there. Don't go. I'm not going just yet. I have more. March will be included in the January 6th RICO case. Yes, yeah. They have evidence. They have a lot of evidence on her with. Thank you, Dale. Oh, tea reading. Yeah, we'll get there. They have a lot of evidence against Marjorie Taylor Greene for January 6th. All right, let's read on 2 more horrible people. Which horrible people do you want to read on? There's so many. Let's read. Yeah, I was just going to say McCarthy. Okay, let's read on McCarthy. What is going to happen? Gosh, he's such a mealy mouth. It's really disgusting to watch them lie. Because when I watch Kevin McCarthy lie, the whole time, I'll look at Tuberville too. Again, I looked at him a couple times the past couple days. The whole time Kevin McCarthy is saying something at some press conference, it's like I can almost hear his brain saying, I know I'm lying. I probably shouldn't be lying. I know I'm lying, but I just have to lie. I lie. He's fully aware that he's full of shit and he's lying. I think I can say that on YouTube. I think I can say that on YouTube. I say hell. It's hard to believe that DeSantis went to Harvard. Anybody can go to... Don't think you couldn't get into Harvard. You know? Don't think you couldn't. I should have gone to Harvard. Why didn't I go to Harvard? McCarthy. There's a turn of his fortune. Yeah. This is hostage of the house. Remember I used to call him that? It seems a part of him is scared. That's another understatement. You guys, put some fire under it. I'm just teasing you. It seems a part of him is scared. He's terrified. He's absolutely terrified. He's paralyzed with fear. He's the hostage of the house. Yeah, he's scared, but I'm just elaborating on what you're saying. There's a change of his fortune coming. They're working on it. And I see Hakeem Jeffries working on it. Yeah, DeSantis was at Guantanamo and he enjoyed torturing people. The other one, Marjorie Taylor Greene, I saw a past life of her in medieval times enjoying inflicting torture on people. He looks like a zombie. Yeah, Kevin looks like he doesn't sleep at night. And his eyes bug out. Like he looks like he's a deer in the headlights. He really does. I was going to read on global climate change, so let's kind of wrap up with that and some tea leaves. What do you say? Remember on Wednesday, if you were here, I got Cocapelli was in the tea leaves. What's buffering? I can't be buffering. I can't. Yeah, McCarthy, it's exhausting to keep up with the lies. It truly is exhausting to keep up with the lies. Oh, before I answer this question about McCarthy. Wait, I already read on McCarthy. I'm all confused now. I'm not buffering. If you'd like to book a reading, psychicannetteDion.com. Thank you for telling me the Wi-Fi is okay. PsychicAnnetteDion.com. I will also, you can get a tarot reading, which includes everything, soup to nuts. And you can also get a tea leaf reading. So my schedule is open, so book a reading. I have time tomorrow, too. And, oh, Kevin McCarthy looks gray. He doesn't look well. It's not healthy to lie all the time. It's bad for your health to lie. To yourself, too. It's bad for your health. Church of Spirituality happens every single Sunday. It's an opportunity to use spiritual principles to make your life better. Every Sunday at 1 Eastern Time, live stream, but you can always watch it. There's every Sunday under the lives is Church of Spirituality. Check it out. Also, Grassroots of Democracy. We do meet tomorrow. We have a Saturday meeting where we get a lot of work done. We covered a lot in our discussion group last night. Even if you can't make all the meetings, you will receive notes. So grassrootsofdemocracy.com, you will receive copious notes from the amazing Terry Hall, who's in the chat, and it works and helps me. She's an assistant for me, and she takes amazing copious notes, and so you'll get the notes from the meeting. So just go put your email address in now, grassrootsofdemocracy.com. Really important. Really important. Thank you, Terry. I couldn't do it without you. Believe me. I don't know how I did it without you. I didn't. So join us at Grassroots of Democracy. Things are getting really heated up, and we really do have to, speaking of heated up, if Republicans won anything, it would be game over for the planet with global warming. The only hope that we have for survival and of us and future generations is to get the Democrats in charge. It's that serious. All right. Global warming. I have tea right here. You hang on. Hold your horses. Patience. I'm doing the best I can. Global climate change. The fool card. We are being absolutely foolish as a human civilization to do nothing. We're going to see a lot of loss and devastation. And remember, the other day I said, no worries. The other day I said that Europe was going to lead the way on global climate change initiatives, not the United States. Thank you for the lovely compliment. You would do a reading with me, but you're 82. I'm not seeing the connection. If you're alive, you can get a reading. And I even read people that aren't alive. They come through. Wonder if Tony Bennett has an... I see Tony Bennett just beaming. You're not old. You're as old as you feel. One of my heroes, Louise Hay, was still touring and teaching and giving lectures in her mid-90s. So we'll have none of that. And somebody just made it, even though we're winding down. But nice to have you here, Carmi. We're reading on global climate change. We are foolish to do nothing. We are going to see really devastating things on the planet. But I see Europe leading the way in global climate change, like technology, and getting it in place. Yeah, Tony Bennett, he's just really happy. I thought about Lady Gaga, I bet. I mean, what a wonderful, wonderful thing that they got to work together. He influenced the generations of singers, myself included. Loved his music, and he just had a really, really good life. So, God bless you, Tony. We love you. And now let's read some tea leaves before we go. The Paris Accord, that makes sense on the global climate change. But we have to have Democrats in office in order to, because we'll perish. I mean, I really do sense that the American people are getting scared of Trump. Really, I mean, in the sense that the more they hear, the more they're like, oh my God, we can't have that. Like what happened after COVID. Trump knew that COVID would sink him, and it did. Why are we talking about Alzheimer's? We weren't talking about Alzheimer's. As far as the tea leaves go, we have Mars going into Virgo, and I don't know if Kathy's still here, but I see something with Venus. I see people coming together. I do. I see people coming together. Believe it or not. I was saying at the meeting last night, at our Grassroots of Democracy meeting, that the two segments of the population that have been in our history, that have been through hell, but did the grueling, hard, scary work of fighting for their rights, women and the black community. We're going to do it again. We're doing it again. Marge is a Sagittarius. See anything good for Sagittarius? Well, so am I. I feel good things for Sag. It's not just because I'm a Sag. But I'm not an astrologer. Yeah, 45 is out front with this fascism. Absolutely true. Oh, I see a dragon. Hang on. Hang on. Because I see a dragon, and dragons are really significant. I think they have to do with overcoming obstacles, but let me just double check that. There's a dragon at the bottom of the cup. Pretty sure that's what it has to do with. And I think about Jack Smith when I think about the dragon. Something may not be what it seems. The dragon is the master of illusion, trickery, and showmanship. Oh, so this is about Trump. We're going to hear a lot about him, but I see a phoenix rising from the ashes too. So we have a dragon, we have a phoenix rising from the ashes. That's great. That is awesome. And I see a bull. I see a bull in the sign of Venus. Was that Venus? No. Once again, it's Mercury. I see a bull in Mercury. I see a bull in Mercury. I know. It's a living. What can I say? Wild animals, a bull. Where is that bull? In Mercury. Could be a bear. Hang on. Okay, we'll go with the bear. Powerful animal with an aggressive streak. May represent a grouchy, difficult person. But also there's a sense of rebirth and renewal. So we will see a lot of, it's like a lot of both. We'll see a lot of really bullish action from Trump, but we'll also see, it's kind of like, I keep seeing the Two of Pentacles tonight. I kept seeing that card. It's like there's a lot of back and forth. And I keep on going to the law of contrast. We'll see both going on simultaneously. The good versus evil, the dark versus light. We're going to see both. And we will have an opportunity every single time to choose good, to choose to focus on light. When one thing becomes so horrible, it gives us the necessary momentum and energy to go to the opposite. And the opposite of horrible is awesome, is good, right? Thank you so much for being with me tonight for Friday Night Live. Please subscribe. Please hit the thumbs up on the way out if you haven't already. Watch Midas Touch. Watch Brian Tyler Cohen. Watch people that are helping to save democracy and share their videos. Share this video if you want. If it's, even though it's too long, you don't have to watch the whole thing. Or your friends. But if you could subscribe if you're not already, subscribing doesn't cost you anything. You just are helping the channel. If you want to donate, thank you for the donations. I also have my addresses in the description. And also, I almost forgot to tell you, Terry would have reminded me that I have memberships, and one of the on the top 2 levels, High Priestess and the World, we have a psychic party the last Sunday. It's a 45-minute psychic party the last Saturday of each month. If you want to join that membership level, so far it will be a small party, but if you want to be a member at the upper 2 levels, then join and you can be part of the psychic party. All right, have a great weekend, and thank you. We'll see you soon. Book a reading. Namaste.